All right, dudes and dudettes, welcome to another wonderful edition of the Internet Nobodies podcast. And let's see, I'm looking through my magical screen here. Who do we have with us today?
Hello, my name is Dale, and I follow the Witcher Code.
Hi, I'm Pete, and don't believe the propaganda of monster girls. They're dangerous. I'll take one for the team and go it alone.
Hi, I'm Terrell, and everything I do is for the greater good.
And I'm Freddy, and I was transported to a faraway land, into a world where monsters rule.
Hell yeah, I mean, they're probably going to do a better job than some people.
I mean,
Let's be honest,
depends.
most people are going to do a better job than we have.
Oh, yeah, that too.
So, what are we talking about today, Freddy?
So today we're talking about, well, we've done the isekai, so our next logical progression into that is talking about which best worlds would we like to live in and which worst worlds would we not want to live in.
So, Terrell, I know you have a particular worst world in mind.
Okay, so I've been waiting to jump on the bit about this one for I don't know, an episode and a half now. Um, Anything Warhammer, specifically Warhammer 40k, because I gotta delve into the Age of Sigmar stuff or the fantasy stuff. But 40k is hands down, at the very least in terms of humans. Well, anybody for that matter, it sucks. Do not want at all. Imperial Man, it's either you live the shittiest life, you're a fucking floating skeleton fucking skull, or you're out on the front lines, and if you retreat, they're gonna shoot you in your back or your face
So,
or
let's
your
start
gut.
with
Yeah, for
the.
people, I'm not talking about myself, of course. I mean, for people who may or may not know what this Warhammer is of which you
These
speak
hammers
of,
of war.
what
So,
So,
is this?
Warhammer 40k specifically is it's a tabletop game that has like a lot of backstory to it as well. There's multiple books, there's multiple games. You can find the games on Steam and stuff like that as well, um, and stuff like that. Um, it's about humanity. Well, not just humanity, but the whole
it's
entire
about
galaxy is at
it's a
war.
dark sci-fi series about like just constant war between several races.
Yeah, an underline, bold, italicize, highlight, and any other thing that you need to do for dark. Because, I mean, it is
Underline, yeah, underline
dark.
highlight.
So, you have the Imperium of Man, which is pretty much all humanity trying to wipe off any Xeno race or quote unquote heretics. You
Racist, got
have
it.
the Chaos Army, which follows either one of four Chaos Gods. You
Is
have
it
Khorne.
four? I thought it was
It's
more.
four. It's Khorne, Tzeentch, Nurgle, and Slanesh.
Scientologist, got it.
No, not really
who
Scientologists,
who are
but
demons. No, they're
yeah.
demons.
Slanesh is the weird one because that one is like the embodiment of lust along with like a bunch of other things, and it gets
No,
very. It's
Slanesh is pleasure to the
well,
extreme.
yeah.
Super
I just gave it
horny
like a
Scientologists.
It's
yeah.
not
I
even
just gave it like
horny. It's
it's not even
murder.
yeah.
It's
It's
Oh
straight
my
murder
god,
fucking.
blood orgy
It's straight
that
Scientologists.
murder
that's
fucking yeah.
how that's how Slanesh was created because the Eldar, which are basically space elves, were at a height of decadence, and because they were doing so well, they just gave they gave way to all gave abandon to all recklessness and just were murdering each other in the streets, just fucking in the streets, and all that chaotic energy
Just a
birthed
good old
Slanesh.
time, I see. Yeah, great.
Basically.
Good.
Um,
Just a good. I was gonna say good Christian, but it's more like a good Catholic time.
It's not even Catholic. No, because Catholics hate sex.
Oh shit! No, no, they don't. They love it,
No, they
specifically when
no
you're
Pete,
married.
they hate it.
but
I think I would know.
On the outside, they hate it. Anyway,
But
so
then
corn,
then you
corn.
have Korn, who's all about like. So there's a series called Emperor Text to Speech. So for anybody listening, watch it. I don't remember what episode, but they summarize all four of these gods very accurately. Korn is all about like survival of the fittest to a degree. It's all about fighting, murdering. Like if you ain't strong, you ain't shit, and you're dead. More blood for the blood god, more skulls for the skull throne.
Yeah,
Um,
the famous phrase.
God, lit. What was it? It was more blood for the blood god, more skulls for the skull throne, lit the galaxy purge or something like that. I used to be able to belt out that whole entire line off the top of my head. You have Zinch, who is always who's like manipulative, planning something. It's always about magic, something or psychers, not
Mystery,
magic,
like,
but psychers.
yeah, psychers, which are basically people with just high psionic energy.
And then Nurgle's the reason why like a vast majority of the Warhammer 40k I would not want to be in, because that is just like you have Space Marines where their guts just overly bloated and their intestines hanging out. It's just like decay to an extreme degree.
Nurgle
Decay,
loves
plague, it just
disease, pestilence, just sickness, just anything that makes you feel bad. That is
it,
all Nurgle is about.
yeah, it's like in a weird way, these four Chaos Gods could be summarized as that world's version of the four gods of the or four horsemen of the apocalypse, four gods of the apocalypse. That works
Oh
too.
shit, yeah.
If you think about it, it's a very twisted way, but it is pretty close.
So is this a video game?
It's a
It's
video
a
game. It's a tabletop game. It's a book series. It's some
a
people have done.
multimedia
Yeah,
shenanigan.
it's all over the place.
You ever been to what's it called? That Brothers Grimm and seen like the big tabletop with little miniatures?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
that.
the armies of miniatures.
Yeah.
That,
Yeah, that's Warhammer.
Oh,
but the
okay.
lore is so like in depth and like tangible that you realize how fucked up this world is. Like
Yeah,
it's
like for
extremely
instance,
fucked up.
the leader of the humans is the God Emperor, and he is basically a rotting corpse on a throne that is sustained by sacrificing how many lives a day? Is it?
I want to say at least 1,000 or so psychers, specifically psychers a day, give
But
or
then
take.
also it requires more sacrifice. I think it's like
Yes.
10,000 human lives a day have to be sacrificed in order to keep them alive.
Something like that. They legitimately sacrifice human lives to keep this one person alive, who is
Even though
the
he
God
can't
King
speak.
or the God Emperor of mankind. Then you have these things called the Necrons, which are, long story short, metal zombie
Zombies?
skeletons.
Yeah.
And the reason
Metal
why I would not
zombies.
want to see
So
them,
they play hardcore metal.
They're emotionless,
hardcore
so probably not.
Egyptian metal, if anything.
Oh
So
yeah,
they're
they're all
made-
about ziggurats and shit.
Yes.
Ooh.
But the thing with them is like the one thing that puts them on like dead on my list. They have these things called flayers, which are just Necron melee units that have like long claws, long like bladed claws and stuff like that. They will skin you alive and wear your flesh. Literally, they will wear your flesh. The whole entire, and that's just like a fucking purview on some of this shit. It gets weirder. Um, but yeah,
But
yeah,
even
no.
even like there's even like the bad factions within like the human empire, like the Inquisition, who just so basically the God Emperor's word is law, and he can't speak, so they interpret that how they will, based on his
Basically,
old writings.
basically take the Salem witch hunt trials and turn that shit up to 1,000.
Yeah. And it's literally just like, oh, did you forget to like take out your trash on a Friday in the second like year of like the third lunar cycle? Burn you at the stake.
Heretic. And yeah, they'll either burn you with a small like flamer, which is like a flamer or a hand flamer or a freaking. They got stuff. They will burn you on the spot or shoot you on the spot. They are judge, jury, and executioner, and Dread has nothing on these guys.
Yeah, every Inquisitor is just like, I have a terrible guilt and rage inside of me that can only be quelled by the blood and subjugation of the unclean. And it's just
Yeah.
like, oh, okay.
Okay. Have a great day.
And yeah, they're all. It's basically just like it's basically God, what's the term? Secret police. That is just fanatics and zealots.
They're not even secret. Everybody
they're
knows
not
about
even
the
secret, but,
Inquisition.
like,
Yeah,
I mean,
everybody knows
yeah.
about the Inquisitors of the human Imperium.
Everyone expects the Inquisition in this world.
Really, no, they do. They do. Even the people who are above them were like, well, if we do this, the Inquisition's probably going to show up because heresy is on their heresy radar is running red. And it's just like, well,
Yeah.
we're actually here to stop it, but they're going to think we're doing it, and we're not doing it.
And like even other like basically, so it's the gist of like Warhammer is just like yeah, like it's this war torn universe, and like just the daily person, well, maybe you might get sacrificed to sustain the God Emperor. Like maybe the Necrons are gonna show up and flay you, and
Maybe
then
you
there's
get eaten by the yeah, by the Tyranids.
I was
Or
gonna say
just-
the Tyranid. Yeah,
or
explain the
just
Tyranid.
basically.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, everything you're saying definitely sounds horrible, but blood orgies.
I mean, yeah,
You would not
actually,
want to be a part of that.
I mean-
They will literally take meat hooks, just and hang you by like the ends of your skin from the ceiling.
I mean, there's
Unless
people that
you-
do that for fun anyway. You ever seen those people?
No,
I mean-
like, okay, those are probably like tamer meat hooks. I'm talking about full blown, like, you could hang like a good 200 pounds off this son of a bitch.
Gotcha.
yeah,
like,
it's basically like
Thick,
the only people
thick metal that has not been cleaned.
the only people that are like happy in the world of like Warhammer are the people that submit to the Chaos Gods, because like, and those are some fucked up individuals.
Not even then. The Tau are also like on point. Like people from the Human Imperium have left the Human Imperium to go with the Tau. As long as you're not a dick in Tau society, you won't get castrated.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's how they kind of keep people in line, isn't it?
That's how they keep the humans in line.
Oh god. But yeah, also, so other threats include the orcs, who are just all
They're
they want
mushrooms.
is destruction. Yeah, they're basically fungus people that
They
just
are literally
destroy.
fungus. They're literally fungus.
They also have the power of imagination on their side, which sounds like a joke, but it's not. If
No.
orcs believe something enough, it becomes true.
Which is why
That's
their
bullshit.
their weapons only work for orcs because they're just thought conscious go, this gun works. And then
Yeah.
if you take that gun away from an orc and give it to like a human somewhere in the far fuck of space, it will never work for them. It's just a mishmash of trash.
If an orc believes enough that its gun has unlimited ammo, it does.
That's bullshit.
And it will
They're all
actually fire
hacks.
real
Hacks,
bullets.
I say.
It'll actually fire real bullets in the hands of an orc.
Do you know why orcs paint their vehicles red? Because red makes it go faster, and it does.
But I'm pretty sure that's true in real life.
I mean,
You gotta also make sure you put the racing stripe on it, otherwise it just won't.
No,
work.
they put flames on theirs
Yeah,
because
so
then it
yeah,
goes
the
extra
flame.
faster.
Flames are for war. Racing stripes are
my
to go fast.
one of my favorites is orcs will paint things purple because purple makes it stealthier, and it
Yeah.
does
So
because
This is
it's
amazing.
the power of belief.
so
Like an
so
orc will be like, "Oh, I lost my arm. If you take that like snot and put it where my stump is and attach my arm, it'll fix."
or just put this
What is
giant
this
metal claw
power
to
of
my
friendship bullshit that I am just being regurgitated right now?
That's
arm.
literally what it
Basically.
is.
I mean, everything they do for, and you're gonna have to excuse me because I'm going to take my headphones off and move it away from me for a hot second.
Oh yes.
So heads up to everybody else, like headphone warning, real quick. But everything
Can't you
they do
just
is
mute
for the
your mic?
WOG.
Yeah, it's for the wall, which is W A
A A A
G
G
H.
H.
Wog.
Wa energy is like the energy that orcs channel, and it allows them to do all their bullshit.
Yeah. And then,
Also-
as I was explaining the Tyranids are from another galaxy. They will traverse all of space to find high points of psychic energy, and all this shit that's happening in our universe in the 41st millennium in Warhammer is causing the largest blip of psychic energy for these guys to go to, and they will feast off of it. Only because they need biomass. And the reason why they exist is because these old beings called the Old Ones, or the Old Great Ones, or something like that, made it so that way they store DNA in case of an emergency. But because of all these Old Great Ones being killed off by the Necrons some thousands of years ago, the Tyranids are now running rampant and just eating everything in their fucking path.
Which also Tyranids are basically like horrible insectoid monsters. And they're terrifying looking.
Also, the other thing that they do is that they have these gene stealers. And the way that the gene stealers function is that they will secretly go into human society or whatever society and implant eggs into people somehow. I've never looked this up. I just know it's a thing because then you wind up with gene stealer hybrids, which are human beings where at some point in time they start looking more and more like a gene stealer, i.e., their heads get like a little bit wider and bigger. They'll start growing extra arms. Some of them will just get extremely buff for unnecessary reasons and stuff like that. And because of the fact that they're still hybrid, they still retain like some ounce of like we can use guns, we can use vehicles, this, that, and the other thing. But they then start turning into gene steal. It is wild. Like this whole entire universe is like a huge no go for me. Like
Yeah.
if
So,
I
yeah,
had to choose, no.
So in summation, Warhammer 40k, one of the worst.
Yeah,
If
Like,
not
there is
possibly
no
the worst.
joy.
possibly one of the worst.
The only joy are the people who are causing suffering and misery
Yeah. Like
because
I
they
would
enjoy
choose
it.
I would choose to go into the universe of Berserk over this shit.
Oh god, yeah.
Like I have a chance there. With this shit though, I don't have a choice. It's
Yeah,
either
shit-
fight like it's either fight to live or live in the world's sucky situations.
Yeah, in Berserk, if you just live like a normal life of just like a farmer or a merchant, like
You're fine.
most things will probably fly over your head. But yeah, so
As long as
Freddy,
you're no one important there. Like
yeah, so Freddy, what do you got for us? Either best or worst.
I figure let's start with the worst and then go to the best. So,
yeah, I'll hit the best later on. That one I
Yeah.
just needed to get out of my system.
So I have a list of the worst, but I think one of the worst ones I'd want to live in is Repo, the Genetic Opera.
Oh my god.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good pick.
So
Ooh,
anyway,
Freddy just wants to sing songs while he rips out organs.
exactly.
That's a good pick.
So
Actually.
anyone who hasn't seen Repo, the Genetic Opera, it's post-apocalyptic.
It's dystopian.
Dystopian. That's the word
Yeah,
I was looking
dystopian.
for. A dystopian future where organ failure is like the number one cause of death, and there's a company called GeneCo which makes organs that you can, I guess, lease would be the proper
Yeah,
term.
lease.
Them, but if you don't pay on time, the Repo Man comes and literally just murders you, takes the organs back, and it's just everyone's in poverty. There's rampant drug use. It's just one of the worst things ever, because if you like miss one payment, you're dead.
It's what happens when the corporate machine wins.
Yeah,
Yeah, the grand example.
Yeah, it's
it's
Yeesh, yeah.
and then the only people who are really doing well are like the Repo Men, which is a bunch of them, and then the Largo family, who are the people who are pretty much in charge of GeneCo. Everyone else is just kind of like, well, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, for the most part, like the Largo family is a bunch of sadists. Like you got, was it Paris Hilton?
Paris Hilton.
Yeah, she's addicted to surgery.
Mm-hmm. It's Amber Sweet. Luigi.
She's
who
addicted
is-
to the knife. Addicted to the knife.
The knife?
Addicted to the
Addicted
knife.
And you got Luigi, who's just like a rageaholic, who like will just literally stab you and walk away, and that's it. You could just be like sneeze the wrong way at him, or like look the wrong way at him, and he'd just like, stab you. Then it's a Pavi, who is just the biggest womanizer. That's really
Yeah.
his thing.
Yeah.
He's probably like the least worst of the three children, because all he wants to do is just get laid.
I mean, and the best character in that. Zydrate is the
Yeah,
name
I
of
was
the
I was
Zydrate
just looking that up. Zydrate comes
Which-
in a little glass
Little
vial.
glass bottle.
vial. A
A
little glass vial.
God damn it. I was just looking that up.
Yeah, my favorite character in that is the Grave Robber. He's the best
Yeah.
character.
That's Terrence Sedunick, who I've met a few times and who's one of the nicest dudes I've ever met. He's really good, and he has a really good comic. I can't remember the name of it, but I remember meeting him at a convention and getting like the first 3 issues. It's like takes place outside of Disneyland, and it's like how the most happiest place in the world has the most depressing place in the world right next to it, and it was such a really good like contrast. So he likes
yeah,
he
I've heard
likes
about that
making
documentary.
really depressing stuff.
Actually, I looked it up. It is a post-apocalypse.
Okay.
Oh,
It takes
yeah.
place in 2056. An epidemic of organ failures have devastated the planet.
damn.
Yeah, I thought it was dystopian, but yeah,
No,
it is
it's probably a
post-apocalypse.
post-apocalyptic dystopian.
Yeah, something like that.
Like, it's definitely a combination of things. That one, yeah, that's a good pick, Critic, because like, damn, I low key slept on that. A friend of mine showed me that movie, and I remember watching it like from start to finish with her, and I was just like, what the fuck is up with this place? Like,
Yeah,
I would get
Oh,
the hell up out of Dodge.
because I know
I,
I'm gonna miss a payment on something, and like
oh yeah.
Yeah,
it's gonna happen.
and then I'd
And
have
I
to be
don't.
on the run for God knows how long.
Oh
It's
yeah.
happened. It's happened to me, and like, thankfully, the people that I missed that payment on, they're like, "That's fine. It happens to everyone." I'm like, "Oh, good." Oh God, I just saw the box office numbers on this movie.
Oh, there.
Dude, budget 8.5 million, box office 188,000.
I know.
Oh, that's sad. That was a good movie.
It really was. There was so
Yeah,
much
that-
cut from it too that they couldn't
Oh.
afford to.
My favorite song is not in the movie.
Needle.
Yeah,
Through a
Needle into
Bug?
a Bug.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. So Pete,
So me.
Yes.
so you.
So I don't really have an order. I didn't really write everything in an order. I just like wrote.
A stream of
like,
consciousness.
Yes. No. Listen, we're not getting into Evangelion, which is also a world I wouldn't want to be a part of.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to I'm gonna have to back that one up too. Like, as
I don't
as
even
cool
know
as I
anything
would
about it.
think it is, nah, there's
Like it's it's supposed to be a parallel world of ours where
Yeah, that's what I wanted to mention. Is like, do we want to talk about worlds that are our world, but there's just like something different about?
I thought we were talking about like not our worlds. I thought we were talking about like fantasy worlds or like worlds that aren't based on a parallel Earth or
I
anything.
mean, just like anything kind of fictional.
yeah. I was
any
just gonna hit the
fictional-
whole entire grand scheme of things,
But
but
I would say things like Harry Potter, where it's like it's our world, but there's a thing we don't know about. I don't think that really meets the criteria.
fucking Shadowrun
Yeah.
would meet the criteria though.
Kind of.
What do you mean, kind of?
I mean,
Aztec
oh wait, no,
is
no,
the
no.
worst
No,
corporation.
you're right. Meets the criteria. Sorry, I thought you said didn't meet the criteria.
No, meets the criteria because
Also,
Aztec is.
Shadowrun also terrible. But anyway, Freddy. I mean,
No,
Peter.
Peter.
sorry, you're both tall.
Me.
I get you confused.
I know we're so tall
What
over
is-
the internet.
Yeah. It's hard to distinguish us.
Yeah. Our voices give
Um,
away height.
But yeah, like I just have like a list of things that I wrote yes or no to. But then you just get to like interspecies reviewers and it's just yes in all caps.
I mean, yeah. If we want to go into that, that's also my best world.
Yeah, me and Dale gonna be teaming up, taking out the sucky girls.
Now, to be fair, for anyone that has seen this show, I'm pretty sure
a work
it's
of
going to
art.
be a lot of people's favorites. So
Yeah,
there's no
yeah.
real like debating as to like who's tackling what.
I mean,
Boy.
as far as we can tell, there's literally nothing wrong with that world.
Well, literally the only issue is like stray monsters. That's it, because they have a political like stance on things, and apparently their government is very well put together. And not only that, the monsters that you think would be an issue, like maybe orcs or demons or something like that, it's like no, they're all civil. They understand each other, and they understand that fucking getting laid solves lots of
I
problems.
mean, that's the orc like standby is like eat, drink, fuck. That's all we care about, and that's like the
Yeah.
sustaining economy.
Eat,
Yeah.
drink, fuck, repeat.
Yeah, and it's a great. It's why they keep winning. That's why they keep winning their elections.
I
And
think
you know
that's
what?
the
That's world building right there. It's fucking world building.
yeah. I
honestly,
think that's
like,
the
yeah.
biggest reason why I like it though, is because it's like monster species that you think that wouldn't have like great sentience in this show great sentience to be like, yeah, we don't want to fuck the world over, but we do want to fuck
just
you.
wanna-
Much wonderful.
We just want to fuck the world.
We
We
just
don't
wanna
want to fuck
fuck.
it over.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's great because
But
you
yes,
get to
it's-
see that.
Not only that, like they like at the end of the series go into like how they like, because apparently our world exists in a parallel world, and they're like the demon queen or whatever is discussing it with one of her friends who's like a head mage, and they're just like she's just like, man, I really wish we could go to this parallel world. They have flying machines and stuff. And she's like, yeah, but they don't have magic. And she's like, so? And she's like, well, imagine what life would be like without magic. And they're just like, we use like spells and stuff to prevent dangerous diseases and from getting pregnant.
Oh
during
yeah, like
sex.
literally every brothel is built on a foundation of a magic rune that prevents pregnancy and STDs.
That is amazing.
Yeah, it's just
So-
the general concept that this show like stands upon in terms of like how do you tackle this with magic, how do you tackle that with magic, because it's a
Yeah.
fantasy world that has magic in it. So it's just like we have a solution for almost everything. Almost everything.
Almost. But once they find out that our world has to use something like condoms, they like were like, that's fucking terrible.
Yeah. Oh god, I can't remember the name of that mage because she's like super important.
Give me a second, I can look it
Okay,
up.
Demia Duodectet.
That's a name.
Mostly everyone just calls her Demia.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's easier.
But yeah, she's like the most powerful mage in the world, and she like invented a lot of that shit.
Yeah.
But the other cool thing about that show though is that like, and this is probably a thing that some people would have an issue with. That's y'all, not us. So this is all opinionated. So keep y'all's shit there. Just saying.
Okay.
But no, the grand general public, just like keep y'all shit there. This is an opinion. I'm not sorry. Is that
What are you saying?
you see an
Yeah, just
angel you see
Get
an
on with it.
you
Get
see an
on
angel
with it.
break its halo, and they're getting to experience this whole entire world in a whole new light.
Oh yeah.
So you get to see a heaven-born being come to Earth, essentially not return back to heaven because they have a broken halo. So you get to like somewhat experience what they're experiencing for the first time because they've never experienced food. They've never
Okay, yeah.
experienced any ounce of like physical
Yeah,
pleasure and stuff
Krim
like that.
is what's the term, like the conduit for like the audience.
Oh, the vessel.
Yeah, the
or
vessel.
whatever.
Yeah, I think there's a specific
vessel-
term, but yeah.
I'm pretty sure there is, but they're essentially the vessel. It's not your standard like, oh, this human from another world is now experienced. Like, no, this person is from this world. They just don't know any better because they're just an innocent little angel.
Yeah.
Like Stunk and Zell know everything about it, but
Oh, they're corrupt as all get
it's-
out.
it's the audience point of view. That's what,
Yeah.
I think that's what's
They
And I-
want to go to heaven so they can bang angels.
which
Like, apparently they don't because Krem had never had sex prior to meeting them.
I mean, that's assuming that no one else has ever found a way to heaven.
Yeah. I gotta look that up
I
though.
mean,
That's interesting. I
but I'm
kind of
sure
want to
they
read
will.
that. But
I'm sure. Yeah,
Yeah, they'll
I'm
find
sure
a way.
one day.
But
Like,
it's
it-
just that Crim is just an interesting standpoint that they used in Angel, which I know in most scenarios a lot of other people are gonna have an issue with that, which is why you saw like some Yu-Gi-Oh cards get like fucking changed
Oh,
up
yeah,
when they
yeah.
came to the states
Oh,
and stuff
yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
That's why I was like, this is gonna be a problem for some people. That's y'all keep y'all shit there. Well, this is just an opinion
Nah.
piece.
You know what the real problem
so-
was? Is that this anime became the #1 anime for a very short time.
So-
It's
Mhm.
so
D-
good.
Should we establish what interspecies reviewers is? Because we kind of glossed over that.
I mean, I feel like based on the title, people
They can kind of.
understand.
I mean,
All right, no. I got this.
just
I
to
got this.
say-
I got this. Look
Okay.
it up
Okay.
on a very specific website that has P and H in it. Oh, that's all I got. That's all I got.
Oh,
That's
yes,
all I
okay.
got.
Okay. So
Pornhub.
so I mean, yes, that's where you can watch all of it for real.
But yeah, basically, it's a series about
without all the good stuff getting taken.
it's a series about a
Exactly.
group of adventurers who go around to a brothel street, I believe it is.
They go to multiple
I don't know
brothels.
if
But
it's just
it's
a
one
street.
specific street.
Is it?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, they do travel occasionally, but they mostly stick to their town.
Well, yeah, I know. I'm talking about in the town. I didn't think it was just one street. I thought it was
think
like
it's called-
multiple spots in the town because there's like the one back alley place.
It's like their red light district.
I think it's called like Sucky Street.
Oh wow, damn.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah, neither would I.
But it's literally just a show about, these guys who are like they're literally having waifu wars. They're like, no, these monster girls are the best. No, these kind of monster girls are the best. And they're like, you know what? Let's go settle this right now. So they literally just go to a bunch of brothels and then rate them. And then and they wrote about
Yeah,
it
and they
in,
bring
like,
along
articles.
a halfling and a beast man.
they bring along their friends, like they bring along different species of people, monsters,
Demon,
elves,
Lamia.
angel, whatever. And the thing is, they'll rate the monster girls for that species, and they'll be like, yo, like for like a pixie, an elf would be okay with that, and a dwarf is like pretty small, so they can probably like take anyone. But when it comes to like a human, you get very limited choices because your dick's too big and you gotta split them in half.
In before Krim shows up and shames the whole entire
Krim shows up and they're just
planet.
like, sorry, you can't have nobody.
Yeah.
Your dick's too big.
Yeah, honestly, it's one of the better worlds because there appear to be no problems aside from the fact that like the introduction of Krim is that Krim is getting attacked by like an ogre.
Yeah,
But-
that's why I said
but
the
Zell-
only issue is stray monster.
Yeah, well, to explain to the audience, Peter.
Yeah. Oh,
But-
fine.
That's what I'm saying. But
Wow.
yeah, so it really comes down to like, yeah, like there's monsters wandering around, but like Zell and Stunk are capable enough to take them out. So like, what's
They're
the
really
big deal?
good too. They're like so good that they're almost like cocky about it.
Yeah.
They just don't.
I-
They're just like, I just can't wait to finish taking out this 2-story tall golem so I can get back to town and fuck.
I mean,
me
that's
a dog
that's
girl
kind
or
of thing that's
something. I don't
implied
know.
is that Stunk and Zell are like kind of one of the better adventurers around.
Which is hilarious.
Because they do
I
not
mean,
portray that at all.
But yeah, honestly, I'd say this is my vote for like best fantasy fictional world.
That's your vote for best.
Yeah,
Best anime of the year, 2020.
that too.
Not much competition, but 2020.
Yeah, it was at the top of the charts for a hot minute.
Oh yeah, it was up.
Yeah,
Literal hot
but
minute.
that's because of that fucking like whole controversy with
Dude,
that
and then, like,
YouTuber.
Everyone took it off of like their streaming services.
Oh my god.
Yeah, once they realize what they got into, they're like,
Oh,
"Oh,
no.
god, we need to
As soon
backpedal
as-
as hard as we can."
As soon as everyone
Nope,
realized,
nope.
as soon as everyone realized, oh no, this is softcore porn.
It's not even.
It-
It just
it
like
is.
after episode 4, it just goes straight to porn.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
you got 4
yeah.
episodes. Yeah, you literally have 4 episodes before you really realize what rabbit hole you went into.
You're just like, this is just porn. This is not even softcore. This is just straight up
There's
porn.
literally a full-blown scene of a
So-
slime girl and the elf dude who just gender switched.
So the reason that the slime girl scene was as explicit as it was is because it doesn't feature a dick, which
It's the
Japanese
tentacle theory.
porn isn't allowed to show.
Yeah.
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 That's why tentacles became a thing. But we're getting very
Yeah,
sidetracked.
but that's very off the
If
point.
we're gonna
We're going
talk,
down
so
another
get it-
rabbit hole.
if we're gonna start talking about like sex stuff, we'll have to save that for another time.
Yeah, we'll save that for the sex stuff episode.
yeah, because
So,
I'm sure we'll have that.
rounding around to my turn, I present to you, to the Midnight Society, the world of The Witcher, which is also
Yeah.
incredibly terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like it's like when you go to a family get together and your drunk uncle is just going on about the stupid shit that he does,
But-
and you're like, that's entertaining, but I don't want to be a part of it.
Oh yeah, like the story surrounding Geralt is entertaining. I was gonna say the drunk uncle that's incredibly racist, because man, does that permeate the world of The Witcher.
Oh yeah,
it's just like-
it's a very
Everyone's super racist. All the humans hate the non-humans. And then
all the non-humans hate the humans
because the humans hate the non-humans.
it's just a vicious cycle.
And then
of
it's just
hatred
like,
and
well,
racism.
there's good monsters, but all the humans hate them because they're not human, and it's just a disaster. But yeah, the world of The Witcher, it's a dark fantasy for anyone who doesn't know. Basically, imagine if medieval times progressed as normal, but then like a plane of magical nonsense collided with our plane, and then it just got mixed up. And suddenly,
Yeah.
like, medieval times was infested with monsters and magic, and it was
Oh
bad.
no, not medieval times. I love that place.
Oh yeah, imagine if medieval times collided with like LARPing, and that's essentially what happened.
I was about to say that doesn't sound so bad. You're making it sound pretty cool.
I mean, yeah, except like,
well, maybe not. Cool,
except the
but you're making
people
it
of
sound interesting.
medieval times were not prepared for actual fucking monsters.
It's true. They're like, damn it, this is not within our budget.
Yeah, and then suddenly like there's mages everywhere, and like elves and dwarves and halflings and
Oh my.
monsters and everything, and yeah, it's just bad. Like it's
I mean, it also kind of harkens back to what we were just talking about with interspecies reviewers, because there's a lot of monster fucking going on in that too.
not really.
Like you can definitely like the succubuses and the witches and
Okay, well,
anything that
witches are people, like humans
No,
and elves
here's
that know
here's the way
magic.
to look at it. Here's the way to look at it. Interspecies reviewer, you'll at least live through the experience. Witcher, you might not come out. At least you might live, but you're probably gonna be missing 2 limbs.
Yeah, Witcher,
if you're
you're.
if not death by stew, then missing testicle or two.
I mean, there's a lot of sex in The Witcher, but it's between humans and elves, and like yeah, the succubi, but like
You ain't
man,
living through that.
like World of Interspecies reviewers, you make a wrong turn, you get laid. The Witcher, you make a wrong turn, you're dead.
Yeah.
And
Or in Geralt's case, you make a wrong turn, show up at a castle, surprise.
yeah, oh jeez, surprise, you have a child you have to take care of now. What? Oh god, yeah, but yeah, like
That's the worst thing about that world.
Surprise
the law of
children.
surprise.
Oh, the very long surprise.
I love the law of surprise. It's just like, give me something you don't know that you have. Oh, fuck, it's a child. But yeah, like, it's just like, even if you live in a city, which in The Witcher, like, cities, random, typically good places. Unless there was, like, a vampire serial killer, or, like, other vampires, or there's, like, monsters that live in the sewers and drag people down into the sewers and eat them.
Mm-hmm.
And like also mages are the most powerful people in the world, but they're also incredibly petty and vain. Like there's literally a part in the books where like Geralt is in a feud with a wizard. And basically what happens is he's like Geralt is like, yeah, we're gonna duel wizard, and then he shows up at the duel spot and he's like, you know, you could have just like fried me with a lightning bolt the second you saw me. Why did you wait? And like Geralt's he's the main character. He's an mostly immune badass. And it's just like, yeah, that's true actually. If a wizard could just fry anyone at any moment with a lightning bolt.
If they choose to do so.
There's very little good in the Witcher world.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like the thing that makes Witcher entertaining is that like the comedy is kind of on point. And that kind of breaks up the fact that it's terrible.
It's the only shining light of hope in this dark, dark world.
I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like that's also like a general survival mechanism too. So is that like which I think they portray that pretty well too. Is that like in the face of a really bad time, people are bound to be cracking a lot of jokes just to like not really fall to those like dark times.
Yeah.
It's the whole.
I love one.
It's the whole. Let me cope.
Yeah, one of
Yeah.
my favorite moments in Witcher 1 where Geralt has amnesia and he hangs out drinking with Dandelion, Shawnee, and oh god, who is the dwarf that shows up in every game?
Dwarf.
Zoltan.
I know.
Zoltan. And Geralt's like, alright, so like I have amnesia and shit. Like what have I missed? Like I apparently have an extravagant life. Tell me about some of the friends I've made. Like, well, there's this like high vampire you were friends with named Regis. He's like, why would I be friends with a vampire? And they're like, he was a nice guy. He's like, he's a vampire though. Like, what are you talking about? And they're like, Geralt's like, the next thing you're going to be telling me is that gold dragons are real. And they're like, well, you were friends with one of those too. He's like, gold dragons aren't real. And they're like, yeah, that's what you said back then. But yeah, passing the puck back to Terrell.
So this is gonna be like a personal best in terms of like things because I'm more invested in this side of like sci-fi. And this is gonna be like kind of a split thing. I'm gonna say mech warrior and or armored core, but like relatively anything mecha would be like in terms of like my best like world for me to live in. Primarily because like My inner child wants a giant. Who doesn't want a giant pilot robot? I mean, damn
I
it, there
mean,
goes the flub.
I hate driving, so
Yeah, but you're driving this thing that
Mm.
could crush everything under it. Also, in terms of like Armor Core and Mech Warrior, and there's a reason why I bring up these two at the same time, is that like generally speaking, the worlds are pretty open, quote unquote. So you
Mhm.
have space to do whatever. Armor Core is more so on the side of like, depending on which game you play, it's like the Earth has gone to shit. Everybody's living up in the sky, so it's a constant battleground on Earth. But like, it's not shitty though, cause you got like this badass band of mercenaries, um, aka Ravens, who pilot these armor cores, and it's just like they handle their shit. They work for whoever they want to work for. They get paid. Go on about their life. You know, if you wind up wrapped up into some weird political thing, well, that's your own fault.
Well, shit.
Yeah,
Never
basically.
thought of it that way.
That kind of falls to point of view for like I think 3 of the Armored Core games, whereas in like Mech Warrior spans a great chunk of our galaxy. I think our galaxy and then some. Um, and it's like multiple different factions involved in this, like that, like House Caritas, House Steiner, stuff like that. And you have it's like a weird like feudal system in some of these places, or you got like the you have the inner sphere and the outer sphere. The inner sphere are like more like put together, you know, they got the houses and shit like that that control things, and you got the outer sphere, which is like kind of lawless. Mercs kind of roam there a lot more. Mercs bounce between stuff. Pirates are like more seen in the outer sphere. This, that, and the other thing. Um, well, or I forgot how to describe the outer sphere, but that's just a good purview for like the people who don't know too much. Otherwise, look it up if you're really interested and correct me later. Um, but it's an interesting universe because like I like the idea of being a mercenary or a bounty hunter, and both of these universes kind of hit that point for me where it's just like I can live freely. I can just take these jobs as I want. You know, it's my choice to pick these jobs, to take these contracts, go hunt this, bring it back, or
it's
just
the
annihilate
freedom.
this. Yeah, it's the freedom, and that's what both of these kind of like. Um, that's what hits me with both of these series is that if you're a merc, you have the freedom. If you decide to sign up with any major thing, that's on you. That's your life. You do you. But I'm gonna continue being that merc that gets the job done just so I can get paid.
Hmm.
Yeah, I can see that.
I like that. Yeah, that sounds pretty
sounds
cool.
sounds like you want an open world mecha game life.
Oh, don't. That is literally a wet dream right there. If there was ever an open world
Legend of
mecha,
Zelda Cross Gundam.
I
Let's
would
go.
lose my shit. Like
Breath of the Mecha.
it's like Mecha's my thing. Mecha is my thing. Like I love Gundam. I love Armored Core. I grew up with Mecha. I grew up with Mecha. Um,
You know what upsets me is I wish I was into mechas. I don't know why. I've never been into really anything. Like I don't know if I would consider Neon Genesis Evangelion a
Oh,
mecha.
of course it is.
of
Yeah, it
course it
is.
is. I would
I
consider
mean,
it.
technically it is, but other than that, I don't really watch mecha anime.
I mean, I kind of have the feeling I also kind of wish I was into mecha because it seems like super interesting. It's just it's a passing fancy.
Yeah.
Mm.
Here's where I'm gonna just like divert for like 2 seconds because I've mentioned this to many other people too.
Yes, 2
The
seconds.
the thing with not literally 2 seconds.
One,
The
Two.
asshole.
two.
The thing with
Go
mechas
ahead.
is that it's a niche thing. It only hits like certain people the right way. I don't know how it got into me so deeply that I'm so into it. But I think the biggest thing about some of these mechas, and I can use Gundam as this example because it's you can see this in most of the Gundam series, is that sure it's a mecha show, but there's a lot more than just the mecha. Like in some of them, you got a lot of political intrigue going on. You have people trying to define their morals or where they stand. The mecha is just kind of like an attachment to some of what they pick and choose to like aim this at. Like
Oh no, yeah, a lot of mecha anime is actually like secretly a space opera.
Yeah, there we go. That's what I was looking for.
Yeah.
But
A lot of them are space operas, so it's kind of like I understand why it's not going to hit everybody. I understand why the genre as a whole might not
Hmm.
get a lot of people, but the people that it does get are tried and true to the genre, and they all love it, and we all come together for like one thing that's like major. Like say Damon Ex Machina came out for the Nintendo Switch. There was so many people from the Armored Core fandom, me included, who were just salivating at the glands for this game. Because it was like, this is the most recent Armored Core we will get for a while. And we were all on board that shit.
yeah, no, a lot of mecha anime is like a space opera in the guise of something else, much like a lot of kaiju movies are actually political things in the guise of a
Hmm.
kaiju movie.
Yeah, and I think that's the biggest reason why I like stuff like this, is because you have all this like political stuff, or like you get to kind of like figure out like, in this world what would I be, or in this
Yeah.
position what would I do. That's why I like these mechas, or these like sci-fi operas, because it really does get me thinking, which is why, like I said, I like Mech Warrior and Armor Core, because I realize that I'd rather be in the position of the mercenary, where I can take these contracts, but if something didn't feel right, if it's up to me and I felt like this whole entire thing is going to go wrong and it's going to affect a lot of people, I can choose to like abandon that contract and fight against this thing. Like, sure, it might be a one-man war, but I realize that I don't have any ties to these people and they're doing wrong. I should stop them, or I have the chance to stop them.
Yeah,
You have your own
Yeah.
moral obligation that you can or you do or do not have to follow.
Exactly.
that's the kind of thing I love about mercenary stories, is that like, yeah, it's that very like neutral opinion of just like, I can stop anytime I want. It just all depends on my moral code.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone has their own code to follow.
And you kind of get to see that in Mech Warrior to a degree. There are stories for Mech Warrior. There's like books for them. It's a very old. It's known as BattleTech. It's very old, and there's like a lot of stuff like that. There's some stories that I think follow mercenaries and stuff like that, but you get to see like where some of the characters' moral standpoints are, depending on like if they're part of a house or if they're a mercenary or this, that, and the other thing. With Armored Core, you're more than likely in some of these series playing the role of one of the mercenaries, but your character gets wrapped up in like this large political thing. But depending on like what missions you choose and how you in like not how you approach things, but what missions you pick up, it will divert the story in a certain way. So some of these have multiple endings. Um, and that's why I love these worlds so much, is because I get to pick these kind of outcomes based off of my own morals, and it kind of flexes how things happen.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the appeal of Witcher, is that
Mhm.
like, I think I love about that game is like, yeah, it's these fucked up morally gray areas, and it's like, how do you want to go about this?
I
But
think
yeah,
that's what tends to make or break like how much do I love this world? Would I want to be in it? And that's because like I know I'm not true neutral, but I am neutral to an extent of like I'm not really picking a side if it's not going to harm anybody. Like I
true,
frankly do not
true,
care.
true neutral's a hard path to walk.
It really is.
Tell my wife I said hello.
So
Neutralians.
that being said, passing the puck along, Freddy.
All right, I had more of a hard time trying to find a best world to live in. I feel like
I
it was
did
much
too.
harder to do that. So I came up with 3, but I think the one I'm gonna go right off what Terrell was just talking about. I'm gonna say Gundam Build Fighters would be the world I think I would love to be in.
Oh God,
So
yeah,
give us,
I'm tagging on
give
that
us
one.
the premise.
So Gundam Build Fighters is basically, I'm trying to word this correctly. I'm horrible at describing things here.
I think I can help you on this one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we all are.
So you know how like most of us are really into building like Gunpla, like Gundam figures and
Gunpla,
shit like
yeah.
that. Now, take this whole entire real world scenario here, like our world. Now give us the ability to use those on like a tabletop system that allows us to control the mechs.
And like and it shows it's like a 3D environment, and like you can actually like control the mechs and have like weapons and all this crazy shit happening. And it's like a big tournament, and it's just crazy. Like I would love to be in that world where you can sit down, craft out an awesome Gunpla, and then just bring it in to just see how good you actually are.
Yeah.
And
It's
it's
So
just
I'm
like
like,
so it's just like friendly tournaments.
yeah, it's friendly tournaments.
it's friendly
And-
tournaments.
And you build them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you build them. You can kit bash. You can build them straight. Like whatever your imagination can think of with a Gundam figure or like mobile suit or whatever, you
Mhm.
can make it. And you can throw the sucker into the fight, and
Yeah.
This
it's
just sounds like the best Rock'em Sock'em robots ever.
It
basically
pretty much is.
it's
I mean,
it's
yeah.
it's Rock'em Sock'em robots on crack, adrenaline, and without the risk of killing yourself.
Exactly, and that's
Yeah.
what I like, because I don't want to be, as much as being like a mercenary to be fun.
You don't want the risk of death.
Yeah.
I don't want that risk of death.
I can
Yeah.
understand that.
Because I know I'm not going to be the. It's like, when you're in a zombie movie, it's like, man, I'm going to make it to the end.
I ain't making it.
No,
to
you're
the
going to be one of the first one to die.
Oh yeah, like as much as I love zombie apocalypse fiction, I'm like, no, I die. I'm worthless. I'm useless. Like,
Yeah.
I like all my video game trivia is worthless in the zombie apocalypse.
I mean, if I'm in my truck and I can just mow down zombies, I'm good.
No, even then, like trucks are not the best for mowing down zombies.
Really?
Like, yeah,
No.
ramming into a person is
Tru-
and a
Yeah.
horde of people.
Yeah.
Like that's gonna slow
Yeah,
you.
that's
Yeah,
just-
that stops
That's
momentum.
gonna gum up the tires super fast.
Gum-
It's a 4-wheel drive. It's fine.
Poor truck
yeah,
loses out to bodies.
It gums up. It gums up the tires. You lose
That's true, I didn't think of
momentum.
that.
Like,
Everybody is just a little bit slower.
yeah,
Mm.
like every body's a speed bump.
But yeah, that's basically like the grand premise of it, though, is that like everybody, and it's so cool because you get to see like some of the most creative things. Like if you go
Yeah.
onto the Gunpla Reddit, it's you basically see people doing that, where they're either painting models differently because this is how they
Mhm.
like to see them, or this is how they're like, we're just gonna get creative with it, or you see kit
Yeah.
bashes and they create something entirely new, and it's like, now what if these things could move, and what if you could fight with them in like a tournament and just show off your skills, or just show off what this thing could do.
Ooh,
Um,
this just reminded me of a possibly good world. I might be wrong.
Oh Lord. Well, we'll wait
Here
for
we
that
go.
one. Real quick though, just to tag.
Zoids.
Yes,
Zoids.
I would love to be in that
Which
world
Zoids, though?
Okay, that's the thing is I remember
too. Ooh,
two
yeah,
Zoids.
actually.
Actually,
Zoids
well,
Gen...
Terrell, wrap up your thought.
Yeah.
Okay, so just for anybody that's like really into Gunpla and they're kind of curious about that whole entire idea. There is a thing on Reddit. I think it's like Gunpla Fighters or some shit like that, or Gundam Fighters or something
Mhm.
like that. If you look for that community on Reddit, they do like a tabletop version of that, where you can like
Really?
make
I did
a
not
kit.
know that.
Yeah, you can make a kit bash, take a photo of it, and you can be like, this is like the weapons and shit that you can put on it. They also have a whole entire Google Drive of how they set up the system to run on tabletop. Like how many
That's
points
actually
this
really
thing is
cool.
worth, the kind of damage that this would do, what would you roll, this,
Yeah.
that, and the other. I gotta find it. I'll link it to you. Freddie, at some point. I'll put in the
Yeah,
Gundam
definitely.
thing at some point. But it's there. I found it, and I was just like, if I get back into building, and if I can kit bash, this is what I'm going to do at some point. Is at least try this once.
Yeah,
But you
I'd
could find
be
people
down.
on that Reddit to go against, or it's a huge community of people that want to fight with Gundams. That's basically it.
I mean, that's what I want this world. I want that. That's all I want.
That's all he wants from
That's
life.
all I want, people.
We are so close to having that too. That's the sad thing.
know.
I want combat.
But
yeah.
yeah.
So Zoids, because the two Zoids I remember. I know there's more. But
yeah.
the two I remember is the one where it's just like a weird tournament where no one dies.
Oh,
Those
you're talking about the
ladies
ones from the 90s.
Sentry.
Yeah, with like
yeah.
Liger Zero.
Yeah.
Oh god, I have that somewhere.
That's New Century Zero or something like that. right?
Zoid's New
I-
Century, I think it is.
That might
Yeah.
be New Century. There's that one. That seems like a fun world because it's just like pilot these weird animal robots and just fight each other. There's no life or death situation. It's fine. I don't
Yeah.
remember why they were fighting. I think it was just for prestige.
Yeah, New Century Zero, and I think the other one that he might be thinking of. I'm gonna take a pot
Okay,
shot before you get to
I
it.
want to say
Chaotic.
Chaotic Century,
Chaotic Century.
which
yeah.
was
Yeah.
the prequel where it was like a bunch of like rebels like piloting Zoids to like fight the Empire or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a good example of the best and worst because it's just like, yeah, new century, good, everything's fine and safe and fun. You get to pilot robots and kick each other's
Yeah.
asses. And then chaotic century is just like, no, we're rebels and guerrilla fighters, like fighting for our lives in giant robots
God, yeah,
shaped
that
like animals.
it's such a cool concept too.
Yeah. And it sucks though about Zoids. The model kits are so damn expensive.
Oh,
Oh,
my God, yeah,
I
let's not talk
remember.
about that.
I bought
Like-
a couple of them as a kid. And,
Oh, I'm
yeah.
Oh
sorry.
no, that now they're like $180 for a kit.
Yep.
Oh, Jesus.
Yup.
And
I've never bought any kits. I don't know what the relevance of prices are.
It depends on which kind of kids
really,
and this, that, and the other thing.
yeah. But there is a Kotobukiya does the Zoid stuff, and they're always like just more expensive. I think it's Kotobukiya, right?
I can double check that. I think it's Kodo, but I'm not 100 on that one. Because I thought Figure Arts also might have gotten their hands onto things.
Oh, maybe. I don't know. I just remember, I know they used to do it.
But yeah, that being said, are we ready to pass the puck?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm
I
gonna double
believe
check
that
this thing.
Is Freddy. No, not Freddy.
No.
Pete. Why do you
Other
do this?
Freddy.
Again, why am I
me.
getting you two confused tonight? Jesus.
Which is,
Because we're so tall on the internet.
Stop being so tall. I'm so jealous.
Can't help it.
both of you are like a foot taller than me. I hate it.
It is Kotobukiya. It is Kotobukiya.
Yeah, okay.
Pete.
Okay.
What's a
Yes.
fictional world you hate or love to live in?
Okay. A fictional world that I would
You did love, so
actually
let's
like
do
I'm
hate.
looking at my
You
list.
you did hate and love, so
I did hate and love.
wild card. Pick one or the other.
Real quick, I'm gonna apologize. You might hear
Okay.
the dog just going ham right now, but
Okay.
It's fine.
Rah, 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 rah.
I literally cracked my toe so hard it showed up on my waveform.
dude, I do that. And I crack my knuckles and it shows up. So
Special guest Dale's toe. What do you got to say about this topic?
just a quick pop.
Yeah.
So, the premise of this world seems very interesting. I don't know if anyone here is, like, I think we talked about it. No game.
Oh
no
my
life.
God, yes.
I love that, like, worlds. Like, it's the premise is that in this world, there's no fighting, there's no killing. Everything is solved with games. And if you have a problem, you gotta verse someone in a game, and you have to both agree on the game. And it's like, and games are like binding world contracts.
Just
So-
like Reboot.
yeah, similar, but nobody dies.
Except
It's
without
actually-
devastation.
Yeah. Now here's the thing. I have that on my list as worst. Because in this world, if you're caught cheating, you automatically lose. But that doesn't mean you can't cheat. And everybody, it's like a fucking loophole that everyone exploits.
Mm-hmm.
So only the most clever people in the world and actual intelligent people are like the best. Humans are actually at the bottom of the totem pole because humans are not smart, as we all know, because we are humans.
Yeah.
And as myself, I feel like I would be towards the bottom of that totem pole of humans. So worst world for me.
Pete,
if I was a clever,
You're smart. You just
I'm smart. I'm just not clever.
no. You just don't pay attention to anything.
I still feel like I would be on the
This is like
And-
this is like your anime character development. Is if you learn to pay attention, you'd be like the main character.
So what you're saying is I should live in the world of no game, no life, and then take it serial, like super serial.
Yes.
I mean, no, we need a montage.
Oh shit! Training montage, quick, Freddy, give me that beat.
gotta have a montage.
It's literally just like 10 cuts of everyone just showing you flashcards. Like I stare
just
at
a.
pay attention. Just pay attention. God damn it, just pay attention.
I'm just like staring at a chessboard. I move one piece after 3 hours.
I don't know. I feel like that would be an interesting world to live in. Look, minus the shysters, but
Oh yeah,
Uh,
but that's the whole thing. It's a very interesting world, but I put it on worst specifically because I don't think I'd be able
Because
to.
you do terrible.
I would do terrible.
I
at it.
just like the
Like
yeah.
it would be a great. It's one of those situational worlds where it's like the world would be fantastic for someone who's super smart. Like the main characters. The main characters are like
on point,
IQ
like
of like 200
plus.
and yeah, and they're just that, and that's why they were brought there by that world's god because that world's god wants a challenge, sort of. So I'm not gonna go into the details of it. I've pretty much given the idea of what the world is
No,
like
that's fair.
and why it wouldn't be great for me, but it would be great for somebody
Yeah.
else.
Which I believe the puck passes back to me.
Yes, it does.
And I'd say honestly, despite the events of the games,
Uh-oh.
I think Mass Effect would be pretty good.
Okay.
Because
I don't know why I thought of another game that you could have gone to.
You're what game?
Uh, shit. What game have we played that I was just like, I'm trying to think of the name of it because I just vividly remember going, damn, this would suck.
Oh no,
Dead
I think
Space.
Massive. Oh god, yeah, Dead Space is terrible.
Because
That-
like, despite
that's
the events of the
literally-
game, I was like, ooh.
Yeah.
No, Dead Space is Dead Space's world takes place if the Illuminati took over. So yeah, no, not the Illuminati, Scientologists.
Oh no, it's worse.
No, yeah, Dead Space
Yeah,
is
it
like
is.
Scientologists take over. Like it is literally an allegory for Scientology. But no, Mass Effect is pretty good. Like outside of Commander Shepard fighting destructive forces, like everyone seems to be doing pretty good.
I feel like if you was in the position of not knowing that any of that was really going on, you'd be living
Which
a
most people
decent...
aren't.
Yeah, so you see, like, if you're oblivious to that whole entire scheme that's happening, as it's happening, like, especially in 3, where it did happen, I
Yeah,
think you'd
3
be
is the
living
only
a
time
decent
where it gets
life.
bad.
Yeah, 3 is the only
Yeah,
time where it gets
and-
really bad, and everybody is aware of it. But, like, the build-up to then, if you're just some random no-name dude, I think you're fine.
Yeah, if you're just like someone chilling, you're like, yeah, you got the Asari. Like, do you want to hook up with the Asari, or do you want to like date a nice Turian, or
And now we're back to Monster Girls.
essentially? I mean, that's what
It
sci-fi.
all
aliens.
comes back full
That
circle.
is the deciding factor for all.
That's what space
worlds,
opera
where-
is like, yo, you want to hook up like a Turian? Like, I mean, yeah, they're like all
That's
chitinous
not
and
what
shit,
all,
but like,
that's not all what space opera is.
I mean, yeah, more or less. But yeah, like the
It's just fucking.
like
That's all it
the
is. It's
world
just
of
fucking.
Mass Effect is pretty decent. It's kind of like a utopia. I mean, there's the dark edges that always happen. Like, yeah, like there's oh god, what's that planet in 2?
Which one?
The one that has like the strip club and like the weird like underbelly kind of area.
Oh, I don't think that was a planet. I think that was a station.
Oh, it was a station, yes. But yeah, that place, that was just like the dark, like kind of underbelly of the galaxy. And it's just like, all right, well,
but even
I mean, this
then,
place
I
sucks,
think.
but like,
Well, yeah, the place sucks, but like even then, I think people were generally fine there, as long as they followed what's her face's rules and didn't fucking cross her.
and stayed out of like the lower districts.
Oh dear God, whatever you do, please stay away from there.
Yeah, but yeah, Mass Effect generally all right,
So
which I believe goes back to Terrell.
Shit, we've bounced around on a couple of good ones that I'm already on board of. Omega. Omega is the name of the
Oh yes,
the
Omega.
satellite. God, fuck, I don't think I have anything right now off the top of my head. Primarily for 2 reasons. One, we've nailed like a number of good like goods and bads here and there. And then reason number 2 is that we are like hitting that like hour 10 mark.
I mean,
So I don't
which
know
we got-
how.
we got in 10 minutes then.
Okay, well yeah, then we'll make it quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we want to round off some quick ones, I'll say Pokemon. Honestly, I live in the
Yeah.
Pokemon universe. It seems pretty okay.
I have that in my best and worst lists.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
mean,
yeah,
that one's walking the line for me.
it really depends on how literal the Pokédex.
Actually,
was.
yeah,
Yeah.
let's talk about this because I feel like
We could do this in another episode, actually.
Yeah.
this
Pokemon.
might lead into the next episode.
Yeah. There
That's
we
a
go.
good
So-
there we
idea.
go.
We can just
Pokemon-
start off with this.
I'd say Pokemon is among the best and worst, depending on how
literal.
true the Pokedexes are. And
Yeah.
also by viewing the world of Pokemon, everyone seems pretty okay.
Mm.
So I got two that I just thought of, like that I can. One of them is the worst, and or not the worst, but it's one of the worst and one of the best. Monster Hunter. The second one is the Hack, which this one probably
Mm.
also toes the line between worst and best depending on who you
Uh,
are.
dot hack is weird because it's
It toes the line.
our world, but with a super high concept VR game.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but like it still kind of fits the bill because I'm talking about like the game world itself because that's where it's mainly based on, but it's the concept of the fact that like Jesus Christ, the Epitaph of Twilight gets fucking serious.
Really? I didn't get that far into Epitaph of Twilight.
Oh, I'm talking about the grand scheme of things. Like if you follow things from Sign all the way into the newer series with Kite and all of them, like there's a lot of string connected strings where it's just like, oh, this gets serious, and it talks about AI.
I mean,
That's weird.
That series is complicated.
It really is, but like if you're like a random person, like I said, completely oblivious to things, you're fine. The thing with Monster Hunter though is once again, if you're a random person that you're not a hunter, you're generally fine. But if you are a hunter, you live one of the most adventurous lifestyles ever. You get to see things constantly, but now you have to fight things like sometimes the size of Godzilla and Godzuki, on the other times the size of a T-Rex.
Suki, God damn
I'm
it.
so glad you brought up Godzuki.
I'm
Not enough
not
people
wrong.
bring
It's
up
the general
Godzuki.
size of them.
Oh.
Like you're fighting like either monsters that literally sum up catastrophic forces of nature to like something that just likes eating monsters whole.
Mm.
Like you have that extreme. It's literally like the most underwhelming of big monsters to like something that people have considered a god in ancient times in this world. And it's just like I have to kill this, or a monster that's so badass that it kills other big monsters for fun. So yeah,
Just
that one
imagine a
toes the
monster
line.
fighting another monster and being like, this is fun.
I literally, at some point in Monster Hunter, one of the monsters, Nergigante, fought a monster in front of you, killed it, didn't take the body back with it, didn't eat it, just killed it, looked at you, and flew off.
Oh, don't even talk to me about nerdy Dante.
You can't see it, but I just did that normal what the fuck head tilt I
Yeah.
give people.
I could hear it in your silence. But yeah, Monster Hunter is one of those things, like, if you can manage to be the adventurer in that world.
Yeah, you have one of the most interesting lifestyles, but you don't have
Yeah.
to be that person, which is the cool thing.
But yeah, I think Pokemon's an interesting point to bring up, because it's just like, yeah, it's a weird world, and a lot of the Pokedex entries are fucked up. But, like, also you have, like, a cool animal best friend.
Yeah, that's really true.
And,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, I mean, if you manage to, get
Which
them, because I-
doesn't seem
most
that
like
hard.
most of the time, no, it doesn't. But on occasion, they can just choose not to listen
Yeah.
to you. So
If they get too powerful.
Oh no, not even
yeah,
that.
I
Like,
mean, if you a bitch and they're like, shit, why am I listening to this little fucking
yeah,
for?
Which
but
kind
like
of
at
doesn't
the
make
same
sense.
time, I
It-
think. Yeah, go on.
I mean, as far as like the game progression goes, when you get to like the later villages, it's like, well, how are any of those kids supposed to capture Pokemon there? But like, assumedly, it's all
all respect-based.
dispersed.
It's all respect
Yeah.
based. The more badges you have, your Pokemon's like, oh man, this guy's tough.
This
Like,
man
as far
has
as-
10 badges, so there's only 8 badges on this continent. Gary.
Yeah, but as far as
Gary.
like Pokemon goes, it's like, yeah, like oh god, what was his name? Is the Sun and Moon region? The
Oh.
Hawaiian
Alolan.
Alola?
Alolan.
Alola. Yeah,
Yeah, Alola.
Alolan.
Alola.
Yeah,
Oh,
so you got the
yeah,
Alolan.
it's a-
Alolan regions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because like in Pokemon, like you could be like growing up in the Alolan region. You're like, yeah, I caught a Alolan like Vulpix, and like as a kid, we started off like a shaved ice like kind of booth, and then like
using Vulpix.
yeah,
vomit.
using Vulpix's powers, and like over time, it became like this super popular brand that like all of the Alolan region like partakes in. It's like, yeah, like that's a cool life.
Yeah.
I think the thing with Pokemon, like minus like the game progression, is that like in terms of like how are all these kids like catching some of these strong ass Pokemon, they somehow befriend them. It's like a lot of work. Like it's kind of dangerous to just walk up to a Charizard that could probably just suplex you from here into like Vermilion City, but like you
Into a
know,
different region.
yeah, into a completely different region. But it's like you get to see, and I think this is why I also do like the Pokemon series a lot, like locate, is the fact that like the Pokemon that you catch, like in my head, it's just like some of them might not like you out the gate, but you do work to show that like you care about them and stuff like that. As long as you're not a dick, like these Pokemon will respond to you in kind. They'll realize that you have nothing but kindness and compassion in your heart, and you really care for them.
Yeah, as long as you give a fuck about your companions,
Yeah.
guess
Yeah.
what?
And
They're gonna care about you.
yeah, and even then, even if it's not the ones that you catch and train with and just fucking live out your days with, some of the you see this in the Pokemon series sometimes, is that they'll come across just random Pokemon and they just befriend them, and then they both go on their ways. But every now and then, you will encounter them again. Poor Butterfree, we haven't seen you since like the
Oh,
90s.
Jesus.
Butterfree is dead. We
Yeah.
all know.
Dude.
Yeah. I was gonna say.
Okay. Does anyone else want to be brave enough to admit they teared up in that episode?
Oh my god, yeah,
Oh,
no.
I cry a lot.
Come on.
I cry all the time.
There's
bro.
been moments in Pokemon where I was straight up bawling. That's one of them. And the fucking
Like-
scene with Pikachu crying. Like, dude, come on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
with Mewtwo, like the,
Oh,
the movie.
Yeah, of
everything.
course. Everyone
That-
cried at that. And if they,
Literally everyone
And if
cried.
someone's-
There's not a single person who didn't cry.
if someone says they didn't, punch them in the nuts.
and tell them that they're a liar.
Exactly.
It wasn't the fact of what happened to Ash. It was more like I've never seen like a more innocent Pokemon that sad before. It was just like that was devastating. It's like that was devastating.
Yeah,
No, that's-
because if it was just Ash turning to stone, it wouldn't have been as emotional. It was the entire scene that
No,
made
Yeah.
it
that's
emotional.
that is the definition of character progression because Pikachu hated Ash at the start,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then he
Yeah.
got turned to stone, and Pikachu's like, "But if you're not around, how am I gonna hate you?"
Pikachu had given up hating.
Oh
him
no,
long
I know.
before
I'm just
that
saying that's
movie.
Oh!
it's a tsundere joke.
No, but Pikachu
Yeah.
is definitely the grand example of what
He's
I mentioned.
just like
though.
Pikachu.
But no, Pikachu is the grand example of what I brought
turn
up.
back, turn back to flesh, Baka.
Because like Pikachu out the gate, when Ash first got Pikachu did not like him, and Ash was
No,
supposed
not
to be
at
his
all.
trainer.
He
But
didn't like
after-
the idea of indentured servitude, which is
Yeah,
understandable.
extremely
I mean,
understandable.
yeah, same.
But like after he didn't like being in the Pokeball either, which I can respect. But like the thing with Pikachu is that after Ash went through the whole entire trouble of taking Pikachu to a Poke Center, because he flubbed his first like quote unquote fight or capture, and Pikachu just got bapped like a motherfucker.
Got
Yeah,
wrecked.
and and Pikachu saw that Ash was willing to lay his life down against a whole entire murder of like freaking Spearows. Yeah, Spearows.
Spiro, yeah.
Yeah.
Spearows and I think at one.
No,
Yeah,
several
yeah.
Fearos, I think.
It was
Was there
several
several?
Spearows. Okay. Either way, a whole murder of birds. He was going to lay his life down for this Pokemon. Pikachu was like, okay, maybe this is the okay one. It came through.
He's like, this guy is not just my trainer; he's my partner. Detective Pikachu.
Like
on the
it took a solid like it took one whole episode to pretty much make that break, but they did it in like an interesting way where it's like it's like Pokemon just won't straight up outright listen to anybody. They will pick and choose who their masters are. So they could just outright just be like, we'll never listen to you, even if you catch us, we will never listen to you.
Also, I just want to say, I looked up what the term for a group of vultures is called, because that's essentially what Fearow is.
Mhm.
A group of
Right.
vultures is called a committee.
Committee adjourned.
A committee, a venue, or a vault.
Jeez.
Ooh, a vault. That sounds aggressive.
I love like terms for multiple animals. My favorite is tigers. So tigers
Oh,
are
okay.
solitary. This is a dumb aside.
Is-
But
Is it the pride?
no,
No.
That's
Oh, I don't know.
lions.
Oh, tigers.
A
right.
group of tigers is either called a streak or an ambush.
Ooh, that's very accurate.
Because if there's multiple tigers, you're dead. That's the
Mhm.
definition of an ambush.
That is that is good.
But yeah.
Oh hey, we just walked into an ambush of tigers. Yeah, I can see that.
exactly.
No,
Well,
no, no, no,
fuck.
no. This is more than one tiger. It's called an ambush.
Oh fuck! This tiger is ambushing us. No, 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 no. It's just one tiger. It's fine.
Hey guys, you know what else has ambushed us?
At the end of the podcast.
At the end time.
Exactly.
Yes.
Segue.
I mean, we kind of knew about it. It didn't ambush us.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of snuck up on me. to be
Still
fair.
So, what do you guys based on this conversation?
What did we learn? We learned that Monster Girls makes the world.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
That's very true.
That
I
and
will
most
go
of
with
us
a little
would
bit-
want. Most of us want to be free, or want to break
Yeah.
free. Damn it! I fucked up the reference I was aiming.
Want to break
Damn
free.
it, Freddie Mercury is just so disappointed right now.
No, he's not mad. He's just disappointed.
All right, everyone. Thank you again for listening to another great episode of the Internet Nobodies podcast. And we will catch you here next week when we talk about the best/worst worlds ever live in, Pokemon.
My name has been Dale, and I'm hitting up Secu Street after this. Anyone want to join me?
Yeah, I'm down.
Fuck yeah.
I'm
Getting in
down.
my, I mean, I gotta
Fuck.
get in my giant.
I don't even know
neck.
if I don't even know if I want to do the outro card now.
What's your name,
Shit.
you piece of shit?
I'm closing the book on this shit.
I'm gone. That's Pete, and he's leaving.
And that's Terrell. He's also joining me.
I'm Terrell. I'm the mech nerd. Apparently, like I think I just well established that fact.
Yeah. All right, everyone. Thank you for listening.
All right, I'll just do the end card anyway. Will Extreme Rock'em Sock'em Robots take off? Will Warhammer get any kinder? Will Pete ever return from the horrible land of Monster Girls? Find out next time on the
Spoiler:
podcast.
he's probably not coming back from that one.